Adobe just had an AI film festival, which I think, is another one of those steps forward to, uh, you know, more AI media for sure. I wonder if they made them use Firefly to do it because that's going to be tough. But I think they also, Firefly now has like more support for soundtracks and sound. Like they're adding more of a more robust sort of production studio capability with them. Like speech generation, soundtrack. And now that I know they do custom model training, I was never super impressed by their image generation, but if I don't know if they did image editing yet. That's going to be probably a problem. I guess if they have custom image training, custom model training, then you don't necessarily need to have image editing. Just like how much do you need to model train? If you need hundreds of pictures to model train every time, then image editing is just a much more, simple solution than that. And then I don't know if anybody else saw this. Higgsfield put out a face swapper, and it's interesting whenever anything like comes out like that. They're like, oh yeah, like face swapper. Now look, all these things you can do. It's like, well, you can do this all the face swappers we had before, but now Higgsfield just has one. So if anybody's had a chance to try out the Higgsfield face swapper, drop it in the chat. Let me know if you entered into the Adobe AI Film Festival. Also, you can throw that out there. Let's see. So, okay, we're ready to go. I'm actually going to introduce myself this time since I think I'm supposed to do it every time, and I just am terrible at it. I'm Dr. Jeff. I went to the University of Southern California. I did my master's and my PhD in biomedical engineering and neuroscience, and I did an AI and computer vision thesis on optic flow estimation. Optic flow is just essentially what they call what's the best way of describing it? The motion vectors in your visual field when you are, perceiving the world, essentially. So like if you think of like you're driving on the freeway, like all the cars are moving around, there's these optic flow, all the vectors that are created by the velocity of all of those different objects moving around you. It's just like, how do you estimate those? After that, when I graduated, nobody cared about AI. Not nobody. Google kind of did, not too much more. And so I went into marketing. I did like sales, operations. I did a lot of various tasks, throughout the business world just by, working with startups, doing freelancing. One thing led to another. I think maybe some more people on the call probably have had that experience. And then after one of the startups I was at went under, essentially, they had trouble. Dude, we had a really good SaaS platform for influencer marketing campaigns. It's just, we ran out of runway. The company was too heavy. But we had started using AI. And so that got me back into AI a bit. I was doing initially like machine learning and computer vision projects, marketing prediction, market forecasting, object recognition, a little bit of face recognition, motion estimation, things like that. And then, the thing that's probably brought us all here together on some level is ChatGPT. Got introduced to the world. And I think it's more than just ChatGPT, obviously. ChatGPT is the tipping point that really has, I think like me for sure, was still interested in AI either way. But the fact that now billions of people are interested in AI because of ChatGPT. And of course there is Claude, which is, that's my buddy. I really like Claude. Perplexity, right? If you're trying to do a little bit more research-based tasks. Gemini has that huge context window and is really multimodal. But just generative AI in general, instead of just being able to predict or analyze complex data sets, now you can generate things like images and video, voice, right? And so I work a lot in that. I probably at this point now, I think we're getting closer and closer to me saying that image and video generation is probably my number one specialty. But then I also do a fair amount of agentic workflows and RAG LLM systems and graph RAG systems. Yeah, so that's me. at least for some of the newer people here. If you've been here for a while, you've probably heard aspects of that spiel before. Today is Q&A day. So you have questions. I do my best to have answers, or at least point you in the right direction for some answers. Hopefully we have some questions today. We definitely have some new people, so that's going to start us off. Let me see. So, well, hopefully we get some people who are willing to talk now. Vibrant Porto Apartments. You're not new. You were new last week. That's a handle I'm not going to forget probably too quickly. But then, and now I don't know for sure, but Sean, are you new? You can turn on your mic or just throw something in the chat if you want. Or, There we go.
Yeah,
Sean,
I'm new.
Hey, Sean, what brings you to the AI Profit Boardroom and to these coaching calls?
Amazing. I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. Thanks for sharing earlier. I'm here. I saw a lot of Julie Golding's AI videos and I was trying to figure out how he automated that, where I've seen people sending out follow-up Loom videos, but it's an AI avatar that is getting people to book. So it's like a follow-up sequence would be they get texted a Loom video and has the AI avatar. But I'm also trying to figure out how I can make a hybrid human and AI system so that I can start generating content, because it's hard to compete with, hey, you got the Hermosis of the world putting out 405 pieces of content per day. How to start going down that path.
Yeah.
I'm generally more private and always went with paid ads. I have a web development background and also a media buying background. And I've created a platform called InsureOS.ai, and it's essentially changing, because insurance is a digital product, so it's up for grabs for AI, right? But also there's the responsibility aspects of it. So that's where the human comes in. So I want to take care of everything that AI can take care of so that humans can connect more with humans, right? So then we're not dealing with a lot of minutia that's outdated, and many places it's still 2018, right? So on this platform, I'm helping agents build their SEO, their social, taking care of their paid ads, bringing them inbound calls. And so right now I manage all these ad accounts from Go High Level, and every time we have a successful insurance type of campaign, it shares with everyone. But I'm trying to get them to do more than just inbound calls. I'm trying to get them, a lot of agents quit, and I just want to tell them, hey, have you tried yet? Because you have warm, you have cold outreach, you have content, and you have paid ads. We've taken off the complicated, expensive part. Let's get you, doing social and doing all these other things. So that's probably more than what you wanted to hear, but I just wanted to share. And so I'm here to learn social media. I've always been on the paid side, and I just have ignored social media, even my own. I'm just not on there. I have a Telegram group, have Telegram groups, but I don't know if that counts.
That's the more the merrier when it comes to telling us what you're looking for, right? I guess there's probably a certain level. If you talked for an entire hour, that might have been extensive, but we kept it under 5 minutes. So I think that's good enough. A bunch of different things you said that I think are interesting topics. So one thing I just wanted to, so there's somebody, I didn't recognize the name, who's putting out 405 videos a day.
Alex Hermosi.
What kind of videos are these?
They're business related. So he's owner of acquisition.com. And so he does business training kind of advice kind of situation. And so my strategy is to take that and make it related to insurance businesses. So his is general business advice. And so I'm looking at there's a lot of areas where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's where InsureOS fixes that. That's where InsureOS fixes that. Yep. So we have multiple solutions. So that's my content strategy, is to, kind of mirror some of these folks, and
yep.
And just because the sheer volume, I mean, oh my god. But I don't want to lose that connection either. I don't want to just put out AI content. I want them to know that it's been curated correctly, because AI can spit out a lot of stuff and very eloquently, but I just want them to know it's curated. I'm giving them actual value.
Yeah. And so in that, I mean, you're hitting on a couple of topics that I've talked about before, right? Which is, so I think you brought up human AI hybrid, which is the way I think a lot of this stuff is supposed to be. I think that when people try to sell you on purely AI systems, the AI is just not really there yet. And inherently, AI does make mistakes. If you look, especially when it comes to content generation, right? Especially video generation. It's a little bit wonky. It can be, but part of the solution, if you want to do an AI avatar, we talked about this. We touched on this a couple of weeks ago. I'm probably going to be doing a session on HeyGen. If you're familiar with HeyGen, it's an AI avatar platform.
Yep.
And how to set up a workflow through there. And but also I am probably tomorrow, or not probably tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to continue on a series I've been doing where we are doing a AI voice agent system, which can be used for you to talk with back and forth, or can be used for just content generation, right? So if you have using 11 Labs, something that is generating an AI voice, right? You can take that and then potentially use that to use something other than HeyGen, right? So you can use Kling or some of these other services where if you have the voice, then it will match the voice to you can use an image, right? And it'll just animate the image with the voice. So that's another system. And the good thing, we haven't looked at this through HeyGen, but one of the things I'm doing with the 11 Labs project is using SSML. I discovered this a couple of weeks ago and I'm very fascinated by it, which is essentially, it's a way of not just giving the script to the AI, but also giving it speaking cues. Essentially, it tells it when to pause, when to add like inflection, when it also do phonemic spelling so that it knows how to pronounce things properly. And you can have, like, say, ChatGPT or whoever your AI, LLM is, add those tags into the speech for you. So, and we did a quick little test of it last week, but essentially I feel like it does. It makes a difference. Like 11 Labs is pretty good at making things sound natural. Adding SSML to it makes it sound even more natural. You don't get some of those more awkward sort of speech aspects to it. And then I do think you're right in that another aspect or topic I bring up when it comes to content generation is that, for this type of content, we are going to start shifting more and more and more towards AI generated. And there really isn't a problem for it. Some of the most popular content on YouTube is nursery rhymes. If anybody on here has a small child, right? At some point in time, you're like, I need them to you need to give them something to distract them. Here, go to YouTube, and then you type in Mary Had a Little Lamb or Itsy Bitsy Spider or something. Somebody, I feel like offshore, accounts have created these pretty visually interesting looking videos that have nursery rhymes in them. And they have like 1 billion views. Like, they're just cleaning up, because think of like all the different times a 2-year-old, right, in America is just sitting there watching Itsy Bitsy Spider. And this is like the top one on there. Or they'll have like playlists that have like 20 songs in them, and they're just sitting there watching it over and over again. That type of thing easily could be done by AI, right? Like, why even keep doing that type of thing with traditional methods? And then that goes for, again, like explainer videos. Like, like if you're just gonna have an avatar-ish person there and they're just providing useful information and like explaining how to do something, yeah, like, we don't really need to use traditional production methods to get that across. But as you're pointing out, it can't be AI slop. You really need to not just have like a good idea on what you're going to be sharing with people, but like, proper structure, right? Like, you still want to have like an introduction. You still want to have like different modules. You want to have different things that, that people expect when they come for the different videos. And then like good quality information. Like, if you are providing people with good quality information, then at a certain point, they don't care if it's AI generated or not, right? Like, if that's good, then, they'll, they don't really care. And then again, if you're using techniques like SSML, or you're really kind of verifying it yourself, I think that helps. Good visuals, of course, help. But I think, we get a fair number of people who see, what Julian is doing and how he's putting out videos. And it's like, yeah, like, I want to do that too. But again, like, he has a couple of things. One is that, he is providing value with his videos. People are watching, it's like, oh, okay, like, I'm learning how to do something. Right.
With him, when I was watching one of his YouTubes just last night, not too many hours ago, actually, it showed that he actually does have a human edit for the B-roll. So some of the B-rolls are automatic, like what you do with Descript, but that he does have a human actually from what I understand, from what I've seen so far. But to your point, with AI, you might as well make customized content for each individual user. So like for your educational example with the kid, what Montessori teaches, which is a method of education popular in the US, it is where if you are creating a lullaby or creating a children's book, it should reference physical items that are within their room, and they read that one book for a month at a time. So that's how they learn what objects and words are. So like if you took a picture of their room and there's a little stuffed dragon in the corner. Well, you're going to want that stuffed dragon to be the exact dragon that they reference in the children's book. At least in that one book should be there for per month. So it could be a monthly subscription kind of thing. So AI gives you the opportunity to make it specific to that person versus having to make up the story. So what parents do currently that are familiar with Montessori teachings is they just make it up. They're like, hey, and this is Mr. Dragon. And then they have to just make up the story. You know what I mean? So like that could be a customization type of, I see totally what you mean by that. Wondering how to do that on YouTube. Like how do you make custom things that just call people out like that? That's what is amazing.
So
Are you doing this all in N8N? Are you creating MCPs for this, or how?
So two different things. One, you just blew my mind with an incredible business idea.
There's a lot, bro. There's
Yeah.
parent-child interaction therapy there's a lot of things that I should be doing instead of marketing.
So
we should do.
Yeah. So one, you wouldn't do that through YouTube. I think that you would create like a custom platform where parents would go and they would pay a decent amount for that type of video, because a video like that, like if you think about it, like if you're using something like VO3 or even one of the cheaper like video gen models, you're going to spend a pretty decent amount just creating something like that. Those video files are going to cost like again, because you need a markup, right? Like, so even if it's like, oh yeah, it cost us $5, it's like, you're not going to charge them $6 for that video, right? And you wouldn't, because you wouldn't be doing it through YouTube. I think like parents would be able to they'd go to this portal and like you're saying, either upload a picture of the kid's room or put in a list of different objects or toys or pictures of their toys or whatever, and then it would generate a video for them that the kid could watch. But that definitely makes a lot of sense. Two, so then we do a lot of N8N here, but I also do Python. I like to, in a lot of my Tuesday coaching calls, I'll do vibe coding and show people how to vibe code using Claude is my preference. We are probably going to use Cursor in one of the upcoming Tuesday calls. MCP, I've done a few MCP servers. MCP is known as being the technology that has more developers than users. I think that part of the reason why that is true is sort of really understanding how to set up MCP properly so that it is useful and more useful that way. Like the idea, I think currently the idea is better than the execution, which is like, oh, it's great. You can connect an agent to a piece of software and you don't have to, kind of figure anything else out from there. They're just connected and you're good to go. The problem is really figuring out a user flow and making it useful and having it work in a way that actually works for you can be a little bit tough. And then a couple more things that you brought up, I think that would be useful for everybody else, because I realize we're talking about this a lot. I mentioned this before. Somebody was talking about social media last week. I built a custom Python script using vibe coding that essentially is working for me on LinkedIn. And so it's not really the posting as much as the commenting on other people's posts. I think that's like one of the best ways to help grow your account, is because your posting is only going to get so many impressions if you're starting off, right? Like you just have, there's such a, the algorithm, right, just does not promote your own posts to other users unless you're posting consistently enough. But if you're commenting on other people's posts, that can get a lot of impressions and that can actually get you connections and things like that. And that's actually the part that was taking me the longest, right? Because I shouldn't be posting 100 times a day on my account. Like that's just not going to really be useful. A few times a day, and that I can just have AI help me with the post. I'll vet it, make sure it makes sense, have AI generate an image for it, and then post it. Like that's not taking me so long. But commenting, 40 comments a day and making sure that they make sense, that was taking way longer. And so I just have an AI script that's doing that. And then what you also brought up about custom videos, you could do something, I think, with if you had your the person that you're reaching out to, you could use HeyGen to make custom avatar videos for them, possibly also using a more sophisticated pipeline to possibly get like their company logo or whatever being put on various like B-roll clips. So you could get sort of just like this idealized version where it has like this HeyGen like avatar and they're talking, and then like say 3 or 4 different pieces of B-roll that go in there, but then use something like Nano Banana to edit in their logo or whatever into the objects in that in the B-roll, and then just put it all together and then generate them. It's going to cost you a little bit, right? Like this is not a free process because HeyGen is going to cost you some money. Generating the custom videos every time is going to cost some money. But again, like it might be something where it's like $1 or $2 per video to make them happen. So you have to watch out. If you're going to send out 1,000 of them, you really have to hope you're going to get an ROI off of it. But there is a pathway to doing that. And then you'd have to figure out a way to host them properly. I don't know if you could theoretically do it all through YouTube. But there might be another solution for you. But yeah, this is where the world is going. You're talking about stuff that's a little bit, it's right around the corner. This is going to be much more what people are doing in like say the next 6 months to a year. I don't see much.
Can I share something in the chat with somebody did for a follow-up, and I just thought it was so legendary. And I think this is totally up our alley. Let me just drop it here. This is the follow-up message that I got, and so I got this, hey Sean, I just finished making you a personalized loom, which I need you to watch before we speak. Very important. And then
through loom. Interesting.
I think it was impressive and personalized. So using AI to personalize something is like really calls your attention, I feel like.
The comment that's on there from Sean Miner.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, okay, yes, exactly. Yeah. This is going to be the way. And again, I think that right now, it's interesting because I'm on these calls. I work with my clients, and we all are very AI positive. And then I will listen to the news or a podcast or something, and they're like, "Ugh, AI! Like we've got to get rid of it." And I'm like, "Man, okay, you can say that, but then give up Google Maps and Waze. Like give up all of the AI. Don't just say you don't like some of this AI because it's the stuff you can see. Give up all of it then and live your life without AI and see how well that goes." But I think that there is this aspect now where people are pushing back against AI, and then we are probably in the next few years going to be in a stage where people are going to want AI, right? In that, so I see people look down at you if you're using ChatGPT to help you write an email or a message. I think in the future, people are going to be annoyed that you didn't use ChatGPT to help you write, like spell check. Like, why aren't you using spell check, right? In a similar type of way. And then just like this, right? Where it's like people are pushing back against AI generated content. But then some companies are giving you totally personalized, content that feels good, right? There's a creepy way of doing it, but then there's a more sort of personalized, unique, hey, we're trying to connect with you way of doing it. Then I think people are going to want that, right? It's like, well, what do you mean you didn't give me a personalized video? Like, these people are giving me personalized videos. You're just giving me a cookie cutter one you didn't even try on this. So yeah, lots of cool ideas you have. I think that if you stick around on the coaching calls, check out the N8N templates page in the classroom. That will give you some N8N templates to start with and to start just fiddling around with and trying to get what you want out of it. But as I always tell everybody, and I brought this up to you, N8N workflows are great. 5 coding out of solutions, wonderful. MCP, watch it. It all comes down to, do you have a good idea? Are you vetting it properly? Are you really thinking about how to provide value to your community? Are you doing other things to build community, right? And so very, very cool. Let's go to, hopefully I'm going to say this right, Jaco Van Den Heaver. Hi.
Hi, Jeff. That was perfect. Well done. I'm calling in from South Africa. This is the first time I'm on the call, and yeah, I've been on the AI Profit Boardroom for about a week, just starting to learn about all the things, and I just got caught up, I guess, with all the content that I see from Julian on Twitter, especially. And yeah, so just hoping to learn more. I have a UX design consulting agency, and in the past, we relied quite a lot on word of mouth, kind of in-person referrals, but you know, just trying to find new ways of getting new clients, maybe in different markets as well. And you know, I think AI is obviously the way to do that. So hoping to learn how, and hopefully you guys can also give some guidance there.
Yeah. Okay. So a few different things. Yeah. So everything I just said to Sean, I think also applies, right? Like on how to potentially find new clients, either, using N8N, or you can again do like vibe coded Python scripts. I show how to do those at times on social media, right? Content generation, but also more specifically for you. So one of the big issues actually in AI and AI tooling is UI UX. And it's because like it's a part that I feel like needs like a good approach that people really need to be thinking about. Right now, everybody wants to do chat-based UI, right? Where they're like, well, like ChatGPT is so popular, right? Already said that. And the ability to just chat with, your computer is just so enticing to people. But chat is not necessarily the best way to go for all these different AI tools. At times, there are other ways to interact with your platform than just chatting with it, right? Or you can do chat, but then also have like different modes where you can use that. And so that's possibly, I know that you're looking for like how to build your agency with, having AI assist you, but you may want to also look into this, that this is sort of one of the big faults in AI technology is improper UX UI designing. And just again, like everybody's like chat. Like, here, let's get it. So let's have a chat. And it's like, again, it's because of ChatGPT. They're like, well, it can chat, so let's just chat with it. And it's like, no, like, I mean, really think about your user base, right? Like for some of these tools, they're meant for a highly specialized, and technical user. They're going to want a finer, ability to control it. Maybe they shouldn't just be chatting, right?
No, definitely. I agree 100% with you. I think with any new technology, everyone just wants to jump on the bandwagon. And it was the same when mobile apps was the hot thing. Everyone wanted a mobile app, even for things that people would only use once in a year or every 2 years. And no one's going to download a mobile app if they're only going to use it once a year or twice a year. So everyone wanted to build a mobile app, and we used to do research with customers and find out, how they're actually going to use this. And we would go back to our clients and tell them, listen, like you can spend money on a mobile app, but you actually need a website that's going to give you much more value.
Right.
So I think it's the same thing with AI, and you need to still, I guess, understand the users and their needs first before you jump onto what the right solution is. But most businesses that come to us already have the solution in mind, and so sometimes we have to work with them in different ways. But some of them are more open, and we try and guide them as we can to the best of our ability.
That's fascinating, because that is so much. I brought up some of my experiences in consulting for AI. It's the same type of thing where you have people who come in and, like you're saying, they already have their mind made up on how the AI is supposed to work. And as much as I can, I try to early on kind of put it to them and say, hey, just tell me what your goals are and I'll figure out the AI. Like, it's not the best idea for you to figure out the AI for me. You're an expert. I always like to tell them, you're an expert on, your business, on your technology, on whatever you're doing, but I'm the AI expert. So let me handle what models we're going to use, how we're going to set this up, and have it make sense. And I guess that this is probably a very universal thing among clients for like technology in general, where they come in and they, in their brain, envision an end product based on like a dream, essentially, or some form of hype, or just like an idea that they want to have come true, without really thinking about, okay, like this is the first time I've done this, or I'm not really experienced on this aspect. Hey, let the expert sort of guide me through it. And I think that once they have their idea, and then you come in and yours is different from theirs, a lot of them have such a revulsion to that. They have such like a negative reaction. It's like, wait a minute, I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it. This is my dream. This is how I visualized it. You're like, well, no, really, this is the best idea. And it's so hard for, I think, a lot of clients to handle that. But they, it would be much better for them if they did, if they realized that, sometimes you have to kill your darlings. Sometimes you have to listen to the experts, even though I guess experts have no idea what they're doing. Figure out what is the core thing that they actually want to do. Again, like, what is their real goal here? And it's like, all right, let's just align the final product with your goals instead of trying to align the final product with the final product that you envisioned in your head just because you dreamed it up,
No, it's an interesting process. So I think if you do a proper design thinking process or a user-centered design process, then you normally start off with research and really trying to understand the business as well as the users and the technology. And if you bring those three together, then you get to the right answer. But in the real world, it doesn't always work like that. So sometimes it's the person that pays decides, and sometimes they are willing to ignore the data. Sometimes they don't want you to do the research that will prove them wrong. You get all kinds of situations, but we always try to help our clients in the right direction where we can, and also sometimes to check our own biases. It's difficult even for designers sometimes to let their own ideas and their beautiful designs go when the user testing shows that it's maybe not the best way to do that solution. So leave your ego at the door, I will say.
That's probably one of the most difficult aspects, I think, for some people is that ego. The ego drives us all. Today is supposed to be a Q&A day, so like if anybody has any questions, they can interrupt me at any time to throw a question out there. You can throw it in the chat or you can turn on your mic. I'm going to go on to the next person unless anybody has a question right now they want to throw out. Going once.
So maybe I can ask a question while I'm on. So I've been doing the training for the N8N automation. And I'm in the first kind of big exercise where I'm setting up like a chat that triggers LLM and then goes to an email. But on the training, Vic recommends using Gemini 2.0, I think. And I've tried Gemini 2.0 and Gemini 2.5, and it keeps hallucinating like different email addresses, even though I'm telling it over and over not to hallucinate, to use the email address that I've given as an input, but somehow it makes up a person's name and it makes up an email address for some reason. So I was a bit stuck on that. I don't know if you had any insights. Is Gemini like a big hallucinator? Are there better models to use, or is it something I might be doing wrong?
So I don't know if Gemini being a big hallucinator, especially like if you're on to 2.5 is supposed to be pretty good. You can try any of the LLMs that are available on there and see if you get anything better. It could be, and I'm surprised that like, I don't know the specific lesson you're talking about. Theoretically, it is in the prompting somewhere. Like even if the LLM has somewhat of a tendency to hallucinate, your prompt, if done well, should, get it to do, again, like if you look at what an LLM is supposed to do, it is really just, kind of figuring out what, and I always bring this up, what's the next word based on all the previous words? What makes the most sense here? And if you're in your prompt telling it to use this email address, then mathematically speaking, logically, it's like, well, it should be using that email address. So it could be something in the prompting, although I would hope that possibly in that lesson that the prompting was set up for you so that it would make sense. I would say, and this is, again, like one of the issues that we run into with AI, right, is this fact that it's always guessing. All AI is doing a guess. It's the difference between AI and automation, right? That it's doing something that is inherently not deterministic in a way, and that it has to guess to figure it out. So I would say try some other models. Like, I love Claude. So if there is an ability to use Sonnet, one of the sonnets on there, give that a try, or GPT. See if you get anything better out of that. And then I would, if I were you, in doing that, go to ChatGPT or go to Claude, show it your prompt, show it the issue that you're having, ask it to give you some advice on making the prompt better, and trying that a few different times. And at some point, it should work for you. If you
I
want,
tried
tried all of it.
and I must say it solved about 80% of it. It's just
Okay.
the last piece is it just keeps on hallucinating the email address and the name for some reason, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I just
Okay.
thought maybe it's a common issue you guys encounter, but
I personally have not encountered that. I mean, I haven't done this lesson, but in other aspects, I have not run into it hallucinating that much when you're giving it, that specific of an information.
I'll keep pushing the buttons and just see maybe there's something I'm doing wrong in the prompts. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Sorry to jump in. Yeah, it's prompting only. We have to be very careful with our prompting, or else it will hallucinate. So we have to clearly call it out in the prompt itself. Don't hallucinate anything. Whatever available in the source you provide, or if you are very much particular about the source, then use which you if you have available sources, then use Google LLM and dump all the sources there and get the documents from there. Then it will not hallucinate. It will just get the documents, whatever you have provided. Or if you want to just use this chatbot openly, then you have to be very careful with the sources you choose, because it will give you all the details which sources from it taken. But your prompt also need to clearly tell, like, means please don't hallucinate, and whatever is source available you provide and all those stuff. So I do face this issue, but after a lot of rigorous prompting changes, it was doing good. Yeah. But Perplexity, if you are looking for any proper sources, then I personally feel Perplexity Deep Search is very good, because it gives accurate sources and all the things in detail. And so it's up to means R&D like thing. But yeah, but as he said, like, means number of tokens, multimedia, all those stuff for Google, as Jeff said, like, means is there. It depends upon how much content we need to retain it in one prompt, and all that depends. Actually, we need to basically split when we required a lot of information into modular, and we need to specifically ask for that content, and later we need to collect and prepare the document. Yeah,
Thanks, Sanjay.
no problem.
Cool. Any other questions before I go on to some new people, just so we get some of the questions in? Going once, twice. Bren, are you new to the AI Profit Boardroom into coaching calls? You can either throw something in the chat or turn on your mic or ignore me. That's always like the best solution. He went with ignore me. Perfect. I love that one. I think. Hold on, let me check the chat, because maybe. No. Yeah, ignore me is the best solution. Justin, are you new to AI Profit Boardroom into the coaching calls? It helps when people actually have avatars or icons I can recognize. He is not new. Okay. All right. I just forget. Were you here last week, or have you been around recently and I just totally forgot you? And then Lazaro, I really feel like you're new. I feel like I would remember if somebody's name was Lazaro, but I'm also probably mispronouncing that.
Hey Jeff, how you doing, man? Yes, you're correct. I'm new. This is the first time, actually. Yeah.
Okay. What's your what brought you to the AI Profit Boardroom into these coaching calls?
I'm just trying to use some NNA automations to make my job easier right now when it comes to like in-home sales and scheduling appointments. So I'm just trying to pick, what I can use, basically. Yeah.
Have you tried the N8N templates that we have so far? Are any of those at least kind of in the wheelhouse of what you're looking to use?
Yes, definitely. It's, well, I signed up last night, so I'm just swimming through them right now. I'm picking parts of what I can use. But yeah, you have a lot of content, which is nice.
Yeah. I think that can be. We've talked about this not just like with our platform, but in AI in general, right? There is so much out there, right? AI is able to help you with everything. Like if you listen to like the different things we've been talking about on this call, all the different new tools that are coming out. There's a new sort of update and model every week, or a new tool, or again like all the different N8N templates we have on the site. I do think it's good to like try to keep yourself focused, figure out, okay, like these are the three things I want help with, right? Or the two things, or the number one thing, right, that you want, and then just try to laser focus on that. I would say I try to do like a split where it's like, maybe 80 to 90% of your time is really just focused on that top project or the top three things you want. And then a little bit of extra time, 10 to 20% of the time, try some other new stuff, like see what else is out there, just so like, I think that keeps us fresh and keeps us up to date and gives us an idea of what, maybe the next project could be. In the Thursday coaching calls, lately, I have been using the AI chat to workflow functionality in N8N. Have you tried that yet?
No, I haven't, but that sounds pretty good. I gotta
Okay,
look
so
for
yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
you need to make sure that your N8N is up to date. So you're on like one of the newest, because they have like different versions, and like you can. And I show this on the Thursday call. But like basically, if you click on your account, it'll take you to a dashboard, and then it'll show you which version you're on, and then you can click and see what the newest versions are. And so if you're on an old version, it's not going to have this functionality. But if you're on a new version, you can tell, because like when you create a new workspace, it'll have like two little boxes in the middle. One is to just create nodes. And the other one, if you click on it, says will take you to chat to workflow. And essentially, you can just tell it, hey, I want to build a workflow like this, and it'll build the workflow for you. It also has the AI helper feature. So with chat to workflow, you get 50 credits a month, essentially, in a paid account. And so you can interact with the chat to workflow 50 times. So you can ask it to build a workflow for you. And then if you need to make edits to that, have it make edits to that workflow, that's another credit that you're using. A couple of suggestions for this is, one is, it will almost universally not build you a totally working workflow the first time. Like when you chat with it and tell it to build something, it's going to have some mistakes in there. But it will do, basically, you might as well start off this way than to just start it yourself, right? Two, you can use the AI helper to get you through some of those mistakes. At least try as much as possible to use that, because you're unlimited with how much you can use the AI helper. So there's the AI, and like if you look at the top where they have the there's like build, and then there's like helper or something like that. You can toggle between them. And on one of them, you can see the number of credits you have when you're talking to it. And on the other one, there are no credits at the bottom. You can just talk to it as much as possible. And so I would try to use that as much as possible to have it like show you what the issues are. It kind of gives you a better sense when you're doing that also, where it like explains to you what the problems could be. It's kind of helping you troubleshoot. The other option is describing what your problem is to, say, Claude, or again, one of these other LLMs, asking it what, how you could fix it. And then your last resort, if you're building your own workflow, after you've used up one credit to have it generate the workflow, say, all right, here, let's use up another credit and see if it can figure out what the problem is. But I would highly suggest using their chat to workflow functionality, especially if you're just getting started. And then also, again, like using that AI helper, because that can really kind of teach you what the problems are as you're going through it, and help you avoid those in the future, so that, if you've done like, say, probably 10 to 20 of these different workflows eventually, and you're using the AI helper, eventually you're going to like learn, okay, like this is the problem. These are the issues that happen when the workflow builder builds it, and you can possibly just troubleshoot it yourself without having to deal with the AI helping you. But I would say, again, like use the N8N templates we have, use chat to workflow, use the AI helper, use an LLM also to help you when you're in a bind, and then try to stay focused. There's so many different, you'll go all over the place.
Let me ask you really quick, and I probably have to update it because I'm in the self-hosted version, and when I open a new workflow, I only see one box. So that would also be working for the self-hosted, correct? Once I update it.
You should, yeah. Let me see. I'm in my N8N right now. Let me take a look just to make sure. I go to create workflow. Yeah, it says add first step or build with AI. And so if you want to fix that, I think, is it admin panel? Yes, if you click on admin panel at the lower left, and then manage, and then if you're in the manage portion of your admin panel, there will be on the right, they'll say your current plan, and then it'll say N8N version, and I'm even out of date, even though I updated mine last week. I think that they update these fairly recent, fairly often. So like 1.118.1 is the latest stable, and 1.119 is the latest beta. I'm just going to update mine to the latest stable. And also it's kind of good because, and then you have to do save changes. It's going to restart your all your N8N. But part of the reason why it's good to, I think, update right now is because the chat to workflow functionality is only like 3 weeks old. And I've even seen it in the updates where it's getting better and better. And so even if you, for anybody who did update theirs so that they do have chat to workflow on there, you want to keep updating it. I think like probably once a week to the stable version, at least, because the chat to workflow gets better and better. At least it was between week 1 and week 2, so that you're getting a more efficient, a more effective system.
Nice. Awesome and great advice. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, who else do we have? Sanjay is not new. Sabrina, are you new? Maybe.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I think I joined about maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And then have you been on the coaching calls before?
No, this is my first live call.
Okay, awesome. What brings you to the AI Profit Boardroom and to the coaching calls?
Yeah, I recently got started with N8N.
Yep.
So kind of learning the basics and building out workflows from scratch. So I figured it'd be helpful to just check in and see if there are any updates I should be aware of, so I can start applying them.
Okay.
And also, I'm trying to build out some content workflows for my business, so it's a working process.
What I didn't catch. So what kind of workflows are you trying to build?
More for content. We're creating content.
Okay, and then are you looking to do like HeyGen avatars or blog posts or like video content? Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So from like the scripting process, maybe automating that first, and then like creating the HeyGen avatars as well.
Okay, so I will give you the advice I give everybody for this. I feel like you shouldn't just jump right into automation. First, do it a little bit more by hand, quote unquote. Like use the AI tools, right? Like use something like HeyGen. Use AI to help you write the script, right? Use AI to help you generate the B-roll clips or the music or the 11 Labs voice, right? Like be a little bit more human in the loop on it to start with. And then once you have it working the way you want, then automate it. Don't start with automation because I feel like if you start with trying to automate it, like automating is difficult enough. And so if you're doing that, then you may just make a bunch of content you're not really happy with. So instead start with using AI to help you make content. And then once you have a good system from there that you're happy with, then have AI automate it. And then also try to still stay human in the loop for aspects of it, especially when it comes to video generation. It's just not that reliable for video generation right now. So you still want to be there to like, vet the videos that it's generating, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I am very familiar with the tools. I've done a number of videos by hand. So I figured if there's any part of the process I could start automating, I'd want to do that. Probably with the ideation and scripting, at least start drafting things with with N8N, that would be helpful. If I could like export that into a Google Sheet and then manually review that before, working on automating the next step.
Okay, cool. And I guess what kind of content are you trying to generate? I mean, like I know that it's video. Is there like a topic that you're trying to do it for?
Yeah, it's around AI. So I do test out the that I make videos on.
Okay, very cool. Sounds great. So, well, it's great to have you here. Hopefully, again, like it seems like we have a lot of people who are interested in the content creation. I think that the fact that Julian is doing content creation using AI is getting people interested. And as I said, I think that AI content generation is going to be, a bigger and bigger deal. Yeah, I think, and then building it around AI sounds great. Very cool. Let me see. I feel like I've gotten to all of the new people, at least. Yeah, it seems like it. Anybody have any questions? We only have a few minutes left before we. Did you have a question, Sabrina?
Yeah. So over the weekend, I think Julian did maybe 2 sessions, live streams, and I'm not able to find the recordings for those.
As long as it's what?
I'm not able to find the recordings for the live streams he did over the weekend. He did some StreamYard live streams. I attended one of them, but
yeah, I'm not at figuring that out. I can take a if it's a live stream of something else, yeah, it's probably gonna get posted soon if it was done over the weekend. But yeah, I'm the worst at knowing where the live streaming goes.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, cool. And then anybody else have any questions that I can try to answer? Do you know if, Bren, there we go. Do you know if there's an automation to create an SEO competition and keyword report? I know that we have some SEO automations. I don't know if we have one to do that, an SEO competition and keyword report. It shouldn't be that hard, although SEO competition, that's because you need to figure out who your competitor, right? So you'd have to do
essentially you're looking at a locale. Like I do a lot of local SEO, and what we're doing is like a keyword in a certain city. And so I can do it in SEMrush and some of the tools, but I was like, man, like I got to take multiple screenshots. I got to go to multiple steps. It'd be really nice if there's something out there that can just like create it's more for sales than anything.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if we have one, but I could easily see how you would potentially build one or use one of the N8N workflows that we have and just modify that.
Okay. And I think for the N8N workflow, you'd basically just have to build out, a research step. And then, do you know if it like integrates with SEMrush? Because I haven't played with that yet.
I'm almost certain that that N8N does integrate with SEMrush. And I think really the question is, because like if they don't have a node to do it natively, as long as, and I'm almost certain SEMrush has an API, right? As long as it has an API, then you can connect to it through N8N. But then similarly to what I just said to Sabrina, SEMrush, I would suggest doing this sort of more by hand before you automate it, right? Like test out, make sure it works, and then automate the whole process.
Right. Maybe through Zapier or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Very cool.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. And then I think if anybody has one last minute, any good templates for content creation in the app? Yeah. I think there are for sure some. I know that they have some for like VO3 in there. I know there's a HeyGen one in there. If you're looking for like different types of content creation, there is a blog content creation and things like that. Yeah. I think that, there are for sure some good content creation templates that are in there. So Awesome. Any other questions that anybody might have before we sign off for the day? Boom, boom, boom. Going once. So again, tomorrow, just to give everyone a refresher, tomorrow we're going to be working more on the 11 Labs vibe coding project. You know, where we're at this point is that it is generating a script, and the script gets taken and it has SML in it, and then it's generating audio from 11 Labs with it. And then our next step is that we're going to add the capability for it to understand voice. From there, take that, and we're probably going to have to modify the script generation aspect a little bit, but essentially turn it into something that's more interactive, where we can prompt it with our voice. It'll take in that information and then generate the script and then generate the audio from there. And then we'll take a look at like the lag and the latency from that, because that can be a little bit, you know, it's probably going to lag and have latency. The other thing I could promise you that is going to happen is most likely it's going to have an issue, and I probably brought this up before, with finding the microphone and finding the speakers, but otherwise we should be good to go. All right, everybody. Well, no, if you just have N8N, you can just use N8N. You don't need Make. N8N and Make are sort of competitors, essentially, so you can just do everything through N8N instead of Make. All right, have a good one, everyone. I will see you tomorrow.